Yom Kippur, 1984, by Adrienne Rich. I drew solitude over me on the long shore. Robertson Jeffers, from his Prelude. Whoever does not afflict himself through this day shall be cut off from his people. Leviticus 23:29. What is a Jew in solitude? What would it mean to not feel lonely or afraid, far from your own or those you have called your own? What is a woman in solitude, a queer woman or man, in the empty street, on the empty beach, in the desert? What in this world as it is can solitude mean? The glassy concrete octagon suspended from the cliffs, with its electric gates, its perfected privacy, is not what I mean. The pickup with a gun parked on the turnout in Utah or the Golan Heights is not what I mean. The Poet's Tower facing the Western Ocean, acres of forest planted to the east. The woman sitting in her cabin reading, her attack dog suddenly risen, is not what I mean. 3,000 miles from what I once called home, I open a book, searching for some lines I remember about flowers. Something to bind me to this coast, as lilacs in the dooryard once bound me back there. Yes, lupins on a burnt mountainside. Something that bloomed and faded and was written down in the poet's book forever. Opening the poet's book, I find the hatred in the poet's heart. The hateful-eyed and human-bodied are all about me. You, the love multitude, may have them. Robertson Jeffers, multitude is a blur flung by distinct forms against these landward valleys, and the farms are run down to the sea. Lupin's a multitude, and the torched poppies, the great Pacific unrolling its scrolls of surf, and the separate persons stooped over sewing machines and denim dust, bent under the shattering skies of harvest, who sleep by shifts in ever-empty beds, have their various dreams. Hands that pick, pack, steam, stitch, strip, stuff, shell, scrape, scour, belong to a brain like no other. Must I argue the love of multitude in a blur, or defend a solitude of barbed wire and searchlights, the survivalist's final solution? Have I a choice? To wander far from your own or those you have called your own, to hear strangeness calling you from far away, to walk in that direction long and far, not calculating risk, to go to meet the stranger without fear or weapon, protection nowhere on your mind. The Jew on the icy rutted road on Christmas Eve prays for another Jew. The woman in the ungainly twisting shadows of the street, make those be a woman's footsteps, as if she could believe in a woman's God. Find someone like yourself. Find others. Agree to never desert each other. Understand that any rift among you means power to those who want to do you in. Close to the center, safety. Toward the edges, danger. I have a nightmare to tell. That I want to say that to be with my people is my deepest wish. But that I love strangers. I crave separateness. I find myself stuttering these words to my worst friends, my best enemies, who watch for my mistakes in grammar, my mistakes in love. Today is a day of atonement, but do my people forgive me? If a cloud knew loneliness and fear, I would be that cloud. To love strangers, to love solitude. Am I writing merely about privilege? Drifting from the center toward edges? A privilege we can't afford in the world that is. Who are hated as being of our kind. Faggot kicked into the icy river. Woman dragged from her stalled car into the mist-struck mountains, used and hacked to death. Young scholar shot at the university gates on a summer evening walk. His prizes instead he's nothing availing his blackness. Jew, deluded that she has escaped her tribe, the laws of her exclusion, the men too holy to touch her hand. Jew, who has turned her back on midrash and mitzvah, yet wears a chai and a thong between her breasts, hiking alone, found with a swastika carved on her back at the foot of the cliffs? Did she die as queer or Jew? Oh, solitude, taboo and dangerous species, on the mist-struck spur of the mountains. I want a gun to defend you. In the desert, on the deserted street, I want what I can't have. Your elder sister, Justice, her great peasant hand outspread, her eye half-hooded, sharp and true. I have to ask myself, did I throw courage away? Have I taken something I don't name? To what extreme will I go to meet the extremist? What will I do to defend my want, or anyone's want, to search for her spirit vision, far from the protection of those she has called her own? Will I find, O solitude, your blooms, your breast, your hair against my face? As in childhood, your voice like the mockingbird singing, yes, you are loved. Why else this song? In the far places, anywhere. What is a Jew in solitude? What is a woman in solitude, a queer woman or man? When the winter flood tides wrench the tower from the rock, crumple the prophet's headland, and the farm slide into the sea. When center and edges are crushed together, the extremities crushed together in which the world was founded. When our souls crash together, Arab and Jew, howling our loneliness within the tribes. When the refugee child and the exiled child reopen the blasted and forbidden city. When we who refuse to be women and men, as women and men are chartered, and tell our stories of solitude, spent in multitude. In this world as it may be, newborn and haunted, what will solitude mean?